The RAN Intelligent Controller, or RIC, is without doubt one of the hottest focal points of R&D innovation in the Open RAN sector. But where are we with RIC tests, trials and use cases? Well, to find out, I'm talking today with Constantine Polychronopoulos, Group Vice President of 5G and Telco Cloud at Juniper Networks. Constantine, great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us. So does the RAN Intelligent Controller, the RIC, represent a nice-to-have or a must-have capability in 5G networks and beyond? And what kind of fundamental change can it bring to the networks?
Absolutely a must-have. There's no question in my mind. And the reason is because it's the first time since the introduction of wireless technologies in the 70s and 80s. Commercialization, of course, didn't happen until the late 90s. It's the first time that we are opening up the capabilities of the network to applications in a consistent way, right? I like to use the analogy of operating systems. I call the radio intelligent controller the operating system of the radio access network. And if you look at the history of wireless technologies, we have not really changed the way we are building networks. The radio intelligent controller offers for the first opportunity the opportunity to really abstract the peculiarities and idiosyncrasies of the radio access network vendor and expose northbound a consistent set of APIs that enables us to really build applications that harness the power of the network, right? Address automation, harness efficiencies in the network, and most importantly, open up the opportunity for new business models, for revenue generating opportunities for the operator. So, in this analogy, think about the early days of computing when applications were custom built for each hardware vendor. And then Linux came along and Microsoft Windows came along, and we forgot about the complexities of the hardware. We didn't have to worry about device drivers. We didn't have to worry about the way the scheduler or the memory management system works, right? And we were able to build applications that seamlessly move or can run on different hardware platforms. So the RIC is the equivalent of the operating system for hardware, servers and laptops, etc. It's extremely important, and I don't believe we can go up against the evolution of technology. So we're very excited about what comes next.
Okay, well, I mean, that sounds like a very important development, not only for the network operators, but for developers as well. Now, Juniper has been engaged with RIC trials with service providers during the past 18 months. What kind of use cases have been trialed, and what are the key learnings and takeaways from these trials?
We have been engaged with more than half a dozen Tier 1 operators. We did announce a successful field trial of our RIC at Vodafone with partners, Parallel Wireless in that case. And what we tried there was traffic steering and admission control. We ran for about 2.5 months without a glitch, even when the radio components, the DU and the CU, were being upgraded. The RIC ran without interruption. We have the ability to sense when the DU, for example, is disconnected, go into a holding pattern, if you wish, and then re-engage when the DU is reachable again. And we demonstrated the ability to address use cases or users who are between cells at the boundary of cell between different cells. And by using traffic steering, we're able to manage the user experience in a much better way. And we did announce that. Vodafone actually did their own measurements, and it was a smashing success. As far as I know, this was the first field deployment of a real RIC, of a product in the market. We have been in trials with partners at various other European Tier 1 operators, in North America as well. and they all are looking great. I mean, the customers are, love what they see, the ability to address optimization in a very compelling way. But most importantly, again, they start thinking about how they can harness the power of managing in real time key capabilities of the radio to open up new opportunities for revenue generation. So that's exciting.
Okay, absolutely. Really interesting developments there, and I'm sure we'll hear more about those trials and use cases in the months ahead. Now, how is Juniper working with the broader ecosystem to realize the potential of Open RAN? And how should industry collaborate to accelerate Open RAN progress?
We are working very closely at ORAN. We believe that ORAN must be successful. It represents, ORAN and 3GPP have been leading the standard definitions, right? So working with SDOs is extremely important. That's why we have a leadership position at ORAN. We are the editor and we chair the network slicing task group. We have participation in all the other working groups and actually active participation. We have contributed. We are one of the biggest contributors of use cases and specs to ORAN. But that's not the only one. We have been working with several partners, over 25 different partners, including application developers, traditional RAN vendors, the newcomers, the likes of Parallel Wireless and Mavenir, etc., and system integrators as well. We all have to come together in an ecosystem that will take out the complexity, the friction of deploying ORAN architectures, right, and address and really showcase the ability to enable or to port new applications very quickly to the network. In that regard, we have been successful at field trials, at lab trials with partners at over 8 different tier 1 operators. We continue engaging with customers to demonstrate the value of ORAN architectures and in particular of the RIC and applications. So I'm very excited about what's coming in the next 6 to 12 months, because we're going to see really the ability to do things that were impossible to do before, like addressing energy efficiency in a very compelling way, addressing MIME optimization in a very compelling way with the new technologies on the RU side. So great things are coming in the next 6 to 12 months.
Okay, well, that's a very positive message to take to the sector, and we look forward to hearing more developments from the broader ecosystem and from Juniper in the very near future. So, Constantine, thanks very much for joining us today. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you, Ray.